Hello, it's David Allen and you are watching Sporting Icons.
So Anthony Joshua and Joe Joyce, these guys have sparred many rounds together. And Joe Joyce believes that he knows how to not only defeat Anthony Joshua, but had he been given the opportunity to fight him on June the 1st in Madison Square Garden in New York, he would have jumped at the chance. And he believes that a fight between himself and Anthony Joshua is a 50-50 fight. And this is what Joe Joyce had to say. There's Tyson Fury, who is the lineal champion, Deontay Wilder, who has the WBC, and then Anthony Joshua, who has the other 3 belts. I think Joshua is more rounded than the others. Wilder has the power, while Fury has the boxing ability and elusiveness. But Joshua has that more robotic, more stand-up, formulatic style. He's got a more straightforward style that might be easiest to beat. I would have happily jumped in to fight him on June the 1st. There are 3 belts on the line and a decent purse. It's what I'm looking for, to get those opportunities and to fight the very best. We had a decent relationship when we trained together. I think he's a cool guy and I have respect for him, but it's a sport and he has what I want. It's a 50-50 fight between me and Joshua and it's going to happen sooner or later. I've taken a lot of confidence from our spars. We're talking the hundreds of rounds that we did on GB, maybe more. I've learned a lot more since then, and I'm sure he has as well, so it would be a great fight at some stage. I've probably done more rounds with him than anyone in the world other than Fraser Clark. It'll be hard for him to come up with any surprises. I know his strengths and weaknesses. I know what I've got to do. I know how to beat him. It's something that I've thought about a lot. I think it's always there in the back of my mind. It was always quite competitive between us on the GB setup. He qualified first and got on the squad first, so I felt like I was always playing catch up with him. And here I am now, again, with the pros. Joe Joyce statement. So, I mean, first of all, Joe Joyce saying it's a 50-50 fight. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, you know, I can agree it's 50-50 whether or not Joshua would knock you out in round 4 or round 5. For me, that's a 50-50. Now, for him to say that Joshua has a robotic style, that's like calling the kettle, really, isn't it? But listen, yeah, these guys have sparred many rounds, and he says he's improved a lot since then, since the days of GB, Team GB. And yeah, I'm sure Joe Joyce has improved quite a lot. And you can see Joshua certainly has. So for him to say, I'm sure Joshua has, well, of course he has. I mean, you know, he's a unified heavyweight champion of the world. Of course he has improved a lot. And Joshua's improving all the time. I mean, even now, you see a lot of people forget that Anthony Joshua, he's not the finished article yet. He's only had 22 professional fights, which is not a great deal. Not a great deal at all. Now, of course, he can say that he's taken a lot of confidence from the spars, but again, sparring, isn't it? I mean, sparring and the professional fight is 2 different sports, really, because with sparring, you know, you've got big ass gloves on, you've got a head guard and all that kind of stuff. And most fighters just go in there and just start trading. That's pretty much what they do. But in the pro game, you've got to have a little bit more about you. And Joe Joyce, listen, he was a great amateur. Of course he was. He's a silver Olympic medalist. Some people say he got robbed of the gold. And for me, I think that's a fair point. But I do feel that Joe Joyce hasn't really improved that much. He gets hit very often, and if Joshua lands on him, it's good night, and it's as simple as that. But of course, Joe Joyce, he is teamed up with Adam Booth now, so I do expect Joe Joyce to be a little bit more elusive, but he is the wrong side of 30 now, and I don't think there's going to be that much improvement from him. That's just me being absolutely honest. Hopefully he will go on and become a world champion or something at some point, but well I say that, for that to happen, Josh is going to have to either lose or vacate all his titles, isn't he? But, you know, I always support all the Brits and I always hope that these guys go on and achieve. But to say that it's a 50-50 fight between Joshua and himself is laughable. Absolutely laughable. I mean, considering that the British Boxing Board of Control have just ordered him versus Daniel Dubois, and he doesn't seem too keen on taking it, to be honest with you. Frank Warren don't seem too keen on it either. So are they holding that belt hostage with a promise to the British Boxing Board of Control that, yeah, of course, Dubois and Joyce, yeah, they are going to go have a fight? Why? I mean, for me, I don't think that these guys are going to fight, and I'd love to be wrong, but I don't think they are. So for me, release that belt and put it on the line for Dave Allen versus David Price. That's what I'd do. But hey, listen, I'm not in control of all that. But a fight between him and Joshua, is it inevitable? Maybe, but, you know, Joe Joyce, he hasn't cleaned up domestically yet. He shouldn't even be looking at world stage. You know, there's plenty of other fights around as well that, you know, he should be looking at and not really looking at Joshua. For example, avenge his amateur defeat to Tony Yoka. He should try and make that fight. He's been calling out Luis Ortiz. He called out Big Baby Jarrell Miller. He called out Dillian White. He called out loads of people. But these fights never happen. For me, Joe Joyce talks a lot but don't do a lot. That's my honest assessment of it. But I do feel that Joe Joyce, I mean, hopefully he will go on and do something. You put him in the ring with Daniel Dubois. I think I'll probably favour Joe Joyce at this stage right now. In a couple of fights' time, I might be saying something different. But, yeah, listen, who knows? And, of course, a lot of this will depend on the impact that Adam Booth will have with him now. But either way, I mean, you mentioned Fraser Clark. Fraser Clark is an exceptional amateur. I mean, he's getting on a little bit now as well. He's there or thereabouts at 30 years old. But, of course, he's looking to go to the Olympics next year. And then after the Olympics, he's going to turn pro. So it'd be good to see Fraser Clark in the program as well. He's looking pretty damn good. And to be honest, I might have seen Fraser Clark versus Joe Joyce, to be perfectly fair. But there are plenty of other fights out there. Joe Joyce shouldn't even be looking at Anthony Joshua in that way right now. As I said, there's still plenty around. There's a fight with Hughie Fury, why not? There's a fight with Nathan Gorman, Dave Allen. You know, there's plenty around. And European level, as I said, with likes of Tony Yoka, Ashley Cabiel, which Joe Joyce is the number one for the European title. And he's the newly crowned, made-up champion of the WBA gold title holder. So anyway, I mean, good luck to Joe Joyce, but if he was to fight Anthony Joshua right now, if he was to fight Dillian White right now, he'd get smoothed out. That's my honest opinion on it. But hey, listen, boxing is boxing. You never know. So anyway, I'll put the article in the description box. You guys go give it a read for yourself. Come to your own thoughts, of course. Drop them below and click the thumbs up to this video. And, of course, subscribe. Catch you all on the next one.